Good morning, traders. It is Wednesday, February 5th. We're about 2 hours, 2.5 hours into trading. Kind of a quiet day so far today, but we do have the market starting to push higher here. You can see how it wants to challenge the high of the day. I'm going to give you a couple of lessons on how to trade the SPY, actually how not to trade the SPY today. I'm going to show you some things that I did today that I should not have. First of all, 3 red candles out of the gate that I let my subscribers know that this is a fairly bearish pattern. It doesn't mean that we're going to come and fill all the way in, but it does mean that we're going to see some nervous sideways trading. So in here, I did get long. We had this nice long green candle and it held pretty well. That midpoint held for the first few bars. We had a really good ADP number this morning, 291,000 jobs created during the month of January in the private sector. Very, very strong report. We also had news that in China, there seems to be a treatment that's effective on the coronavirus. That also could really, really help. So the market gapped higher today and it was able to hold those gains. So I thought, well, this would be a good opportunity to get in. I had a cross in my indicator, the 1OP indicator. And as we came up to the high, we saw 2 long tails above body. That is a warning sign. That is a sign of resistance that at very least it's going to take a while for us to get through. I was hoping for us to blow right through on the good news. Didn't happen. I'd also mentioned to members that if we did stack another green candle here and we blow through easily, then we've got excellent upside potential. But we didn't do that. Instead, we had to come down and we had to probe for support. We had to form support in here. I did take a loss on those calls of about 90 cents, and I was trading the SPY February 7, 330 calls, so they expire in 2 days. They move. So that was a pretty painful little ding. Then I also bought calls in here on this compression. We had bounced off the low, had a nice cross again in the indicator. We're compressing, compressing, compressing. But as soon as I saw the low end of this compression fail, I got out for a 30-cent loss. I'd already taken a ding back here earlier in the day, so twice bitten. Now I'm shy. Now I don't want to trade the SPY, and the market really was just kind of chopping around. This looks like a nice little move in here. You've got some long green candles closing on the high. You actually have a move higher in the SPY while the 1OP indicator is falling. That is a bullish divergence. So perhaps we will move higher now. We've got this downward sloping trend line that's been breached to the upside. That's good. We have inverted head and shoulders here, shoulder, head, shoulder. So we've got a downward sloping trend line. You can see how that's been broken to the upside. So things look to be firming up market-wise on a 5-minute basis. We're still going to be trying to take out this high of the day if we can get through, but I expect a few challenges and a few tails here before we can finally get through. Then I will join the move. Let's take a look at that daily chart, see what's going on there. You can see how off of this low just a few days ago from that 321 level, we are already racing back to the all-time high around that 322 level. So very, very encouraging, and you can see how the market is on that high right now. Things look pretty dang good. So let's see if we can find some stocks to trade in here. Yesterday I did mention Tesla. That looked very weak. And you can see that is just a rocket ship. And yesterday near the close, we did have a really big, long red candle. I think that was about a 100-point drop right in there. Today, you're starting to see Tesla also fairly weak, weak relative to the market. If it takes out this low, it could be a really nice short today. I don't know that I would be shorting it just yet on a swing trading basis, but there are definitely some warning signs right now. And you can see how that prior closing high right there has now failed. That should have been a minor support level. This obviously is a big support level as we start to come into this green bar. If we eclipse that 720 level, the halfway point of that green bar, I think that the stock really starts to come in and you start to see a lot of profit taking. Hey, anybody that's been long Tesla and it's gone from $300 to almost $900, who's not going to take that kind of profit? Going to be a lot of profit taking in it. So we have to wait for definite signs. There's a lot of short covering in here. So let's see what the stock does, but I think it could set up to be a really decent short. Another stock that I'm watching today, which I want to get that SPY back up on this chart, and then I'm going to use my other chart primarily, and then this will allow us to watch what's going on in the SPY in the background. So this is the SPY on a 5-minute basis. Now we'll take a look at other charts using this primary chart, and I'm going to take a look at Snap. I did a nice little short in that this morning, and you can see how that stock is very weak. I sold this breakdown short right here, relative weakness covered in here. That was a decent trade. I am long BMY. I like that. That stock's starting to recover. It's going to be challenging the high in here. Let's go to that daily chart, take a look there. So you've got a test of multiple horizontal support, 1, 2, 3, 4. Stock starting to move higher. It's through this little horizontal resistance level. Looks good today. So I do like that one. DDD, that's another one that I'm long. Oh yeah, there we go. That's a nice looking chart. You've got this horizontal breakout right here, long green candles closing on their high, and I'm making money on that one. So I got in right in here earlier in the day, had to take a little bit of heat on it while the market was figuring out what it wanted to do. Now the stock is back on track. So given that the market looks like it's going to challenge that all-time high, we're going to go into a few of my favorite searches. Let's see what's going on after earnings. These are stocks that announced the prior day after the close or today before the open. And ALL right out of the gate, really nice one. This is a great search. So these stocks reported after the close or before the open and are above the prior day's high, so we know they want to run. PAGP, also a decent looking stock, got a nice upward sloping trend line here. Needs to get through that high at 1755. Let's look at that daily chart, see what's going on there. That's kind of a bottom fishing stock, so perhaps not my favorite one there. Another one here, BBD, same type of situation. I can find better than that. Let's take a look at some of these. Another one, MMM, CVX. Those are all going to be bouncing off the low. The fact that China might have a treatment for coronavirus will probably help some of these energy stocks. China's demand for oil is down 20% since the coronavirus, so it has really hurt their economy. We still don't know what the full-blown effects are going to be from it. So, energy stocks getting a little bit of bounce after heavy selling. Going to go into relative strength 30, see what's leading the charge here, see if I can find anything that looks good. Microsoft was really strong yesterday and it pulled back pretty hard today. So we'll take a look at that. I don't like this heavy selling right here. That tells me that the stock is tired. We've got a little bit of a bounce, but as soon as the market loses its momentum, I think Microsoft could see a little bit of additional profit taking. So I'm not crazy about that one. SRPT, take a look at that. Not seeing a whole lot going on there. I might have to go into a couple of other searches to find something that I really like today. I'm going to Texan. That's a nice one. That is some really nice upward momentum. You've got this compression here. Snap has just breached above the trend line. Okay, that was a personal alert of mine. Let's take a look at that Texas Instruments chart. Comes down, gets through the 100-day moving average on the upside. It's got really good momentum today. The chart is a little bit choppy for me. BBY looks like it's starting to go. Not my favorite. Still looking for something that really is compelling. I'd rather have a horizontal breakout like this to a new relative high. That would be of greater interest to me. I'm going to take these off. And I'm going to go into another search to see what else I can find. Buy into earnings, see if there's anything good there. These stocks are strong into earnings releases, and I'm going to see if I've got a couple that might be good for bullish put spreads. That's ideally what I'd like to do into the number. Walmart finds support here off the 200-day moving average, and it reports on the 18th of February. There's a good trade. I like selling that bullish put spread. February 14th expiration using that 114 strike price right there, just above the 200-day moving average. Got a nice compression on Walmart right here. This stock tends to rally into earnings season. I like it. Let's take a look at it on a 5-minute basis. Yeah, this stock is making a new high for the day. The market is not. It's got good relative strength. I like Walmart. Let's take a look and see what we can get for that bullish put spread. And I'm going to go into that February 14th expiration date right in here. And we can see here the Feb 14 puts. If I sold the 114s and I bought the 113s, that is 12 cents bid offered at 14 cents. I've got a $1 spread between the strike prices. Typically, I like to get 15, 16, 17, 18 cents for these. It's not quite there. Walmart doesn't trade real actively. I do like this spread. If I could get 16 or 17 cents for it, I would do it. It expires before the company announces earnings. If this trade works out, that's going to generate approximately a 20% return in 2 weeks. That's a nice trade. Perhaps I'll leave you with that. Let's take a look at the SPY. We're grinding, grinding, grinding higher, trying to get through that high of the day right now. Probably going to take a couple of tests given that we've been pulling back most of the day, but this looks pretty good. Got a little bit of a 1OP cross here. I'm going to say this is going to take a couple of efforts and then we may poke through later in the day. That's it for today. Again, if you're looking at the opening, these first 6 candles are very, very important on the SPY. That was a clue that we're going to test lower. I should have been more patient with that trade. That was a big mistake on my part, and so I lost money on it. Got to avoid these mistakes. Also, if you're getting very small candles in here during the first 30 minutes, the first 45 minutes of trading, it tells you that there's just not a lot going on. The market's going to poke around and probe around and try and find any sense of direction. And finally, when we get a couple of long tails above body up in here, you get this long red candle. Well, what is that all about? That is basically flushing out anybody that bought here and anybody that bought here, because your stops will be just below that level. And then once you breach that level, you shake them out. They have to sell their long position. They're shaken out on their stops. Then you get this climax down here, this selling climax, and then eventually a few tails under body, you can rally from there, you get a higher low in here. Okay, this is pretty decent to trade off of. So, couple of efforts here, couple of little pullbacks, possibly a little breakout, and then we have a chance to move higher today. We should see resistance at the all-time high. That's where we're at right now. So, don't expect this to be off to the races today. I don't see that happening. This is a pretty big run up right in here already, so it may take a little bit for us to get through, but the longer term message here is the bid is strong on the S&P 500. You have to be long in here. You got to be selling bullish put spreads. I thought we might get a little bit more of a pullback in here than we did. 1 test, 2 tests. That's about all we got. We didn't get a third test and we were off to the races. So even with the dark cloud of coronavirus looming, the market was able to shake that off as a temporary event. Bullish speculators, I don't feel ever really got shaken out because that drop came instantly and right away and they hung in there and now they're being rewarded for it. So market looks like it's going to continue higher. The bid is very, very strong. I think that in the next day or two, we are going to see that breakout to the upside. So trade from the long side. Good luck. We'll see you in the morning.